Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Shin for the win, and if anyone notices a difference in audio quality, I apologize. I'm not recording this with the usual device that I use where I just put everything together in Sony Vegas and editing. This is just all on my PS4 with my PS4 microphone because this is meant to be just a short little sort of explanation video that I'm not going to do any editing with. And because of that, you get to hear exactly what I hear whenever I'm doing any runs in my game at any time ever. Nothing. Because, well, if I want to add music in post, I can't really have music playing because of, like, boss music and stuff getting included too, which is really annoying. So it kind of sounds boring, but not really. I listen to YouTube while I'm playing. I have the volume at almost like 0. Anyway, this is talking about Voidstrike, how it works and why it's not good on fast weapons compared to slower weapons. Because by now, I feel like a lot of people understand how it works thanks to people going in and finding out how it works and then posting their findings. So, like, if you frequent Reddit or on Discord or, like, even my channel, I've talked about it, you have a pretty good understanding about how it works. But I understand that, especially for newer people or people that just haven't really gotten to try Voidstrike or pay attention to it when they do use it, this isn't such common knowledge. And, you know, when I first saw Voidstrike, the description for it doesn't really tell you much about how it works. All it says is that it applies a rising damage multiplier. What exactly does that mean? Like, does it increase with every single hit that you land? Does it increase, like, the multiplier higher the more hits you're landing? How long does this multiplier last? Like, a lot of questions were going through my head, and it was really difficult to pinpoint how the enchantment was working, so it can lead to a lot of confusion. So, I think that the best way to explain how it works and also why it's not good on fast weapons is just with, well, a demonstration. And I thought I would use the fastest weapon in the game in order to show just how not good it is on fast weapons. So as you can see here, I have 2 Fighter's Bindings at 251 power, max damage value at 191,710. I can even quick equip them and do a punch to show you that it's that damage. See? 191,710 and 191,710. There's no funny business going on whatsoever. So I thought the best way to demonstrate Voidstrike is to compare it to another damage enchant, one that's consistent, one that applies the same damage boost for every single hit, and that's Sharpness. What it says here is that it's a 33% damage increase at level 3. Now what this actually comes out to is 33.1% because I should be doing 255,166 damage when I land punches with it. So let's try that out. Yep. No matter how many punches I land, it's going to be the exact same damage. And by the way, I apologize if you can hear my PS4 fan. I'm not sure what this microphone can pick up. Usually I record my audio when the PS4 is turned off. So yeah, I really hope this fan's not getting in the way. Anyway, yeah, you can see 33.1% boost, giving me 255,166 damage. Now, let's try Voidstrike on Fighter's Bindings and see if the damage increases with every punch, like some people would assume by its description, because it says, rising damage multiplier that steadily raises to max level, then is removed. That's all that it says. So is it going to keep on increasing? Is it going to increase faster the more Voidstrike that we apply? Let's find out. So I'm not sure if you're able to see this, but it is doing a consistent 239,637 damage. It is not increasing, it is just doing this exact same damage, which is a 25% increase. And the reason for this is because the minimum damage boost that Voidstrike can give is a 25% boost. As long as your next attack hits 1 frame after the previous one, it immediately has a 25% boost, meaning that Fighter's Bindings are getting the minimum boost that Voidstrike can give, and it is not increasing any further. As you can see with subsequent punches, it is not increasing. The reason for this is because Voidstrike's damage multiplier only increases as long as the mob is not being hit by your melee, ranged weapons, or by your pets/summons. Unless, of course, there is one exception. If your ranged weapon has Voidstrike and you apply that to the enemy, and your melee weapon does not have Voidstrike, and you have red damage numbers from, say, Strength Potion, then it will not cancel out the Voidstrike, and it will keep on increasing. Otherwise, as long as you land any of those hits on a mob that has the Voidstrike debuff on them, it will remove it. If your weapon has Voidstrike on it, then it will start the multiplier again. But every hit then would reset it, meaning that if a weapon is hitting faster, you are not giving Voidstrike as much time for the multiplier to build with every hit. So that is why Starless Knight gets a 100% boost from Voidstrike because it's so slow, and Fighter's Bindings gets the minimum Voidstrike boost because it's hitting too fast. as you can see here, again, 239,637 damage. We let it go a little bit. See, then it does more damage because we're giving it time to actually increase. If we wait longer, we'll get a bigger increase until it hits its cap of 7 times damage. But if we are constantly punching, unless something happens to like slow the frames down or slow the game down in any way, which only happens once every now and then, the damage is going to be the same. It is going to be completely neutered because the weapon is too fast. There is, however, a way that you could get increased damage with Voidstrike on fighters' bindings, and that is if you are landing indirect damage hits that do not count as weapon damage, such as, say, Shockwave. In fact, it's one of the only indirect damage enchants that you can use with constant attacks, unless you're using Fire Aspect and Poison Cloud. So we apply Voidstrike. The original damage for this, by the way, is 460,103, but if we apply Voidstrike and back up, you can see the damage is increasing to 2 million, 3 million, and so on. Because we're not actually landing any melee ranged or pet attacks that would reset it. So yeah, that is exactly how Voidstrike works. The reason why it's not good on faster weapons is because the multiplier only increases as long as the mob is not taking any of those hits. You can, however, do other things. Like I said, it's only if it's melee, ranged, or pet damage. If you have, say, Corrupt Beacon on, and you hit, and then you blast them, see, the damage is increasing. This is a really overpowered way to do damage. That's why soul builds have some incredible potential if you use them right. Like, say, my previous video where I had Torment Quiver with Burst Bowstring, Multi-Shot, Soul Siphon, and Voidstrike on a Shivering Bow that would slow enemies down, so it would just roll around them and fire a ton of shots on them that multi-hit them to give me a ton of souls with Soul Siphon, which also slowed them down and applied Voidstrike, so I could blast them away with my beacon. It's crazy. But as far as melee goes and you're constantly attacking, you want it to be on slower weapons. Anything that is a Tempest Knife or slower will get at least a 40% boost from Voidstrike or more, meaning that on a Tempest Knife, crit and Voidstrike are about the same, and since Voidstrike has more potential if you have a delayed hit, like say if you have to run away from the mob or something, then Voidstrike is better. On anything else that is faster than that, being any daggers, any sickles, the Coral Blade line, any gauntlets, rapiers, the saw blades, things like that, Voidstrike is worse than crit. So yeah, hopefully this cleared things up. Pretty hard to dispute this when it's right here on camera showing that Voidstrike is only giving a 25% boost and not getting anything higher per hit. Because yeah, I know it can be confusing, but yeah, it's right here. Anyway, Shin out.